I'm Feona. I'm here with my friend Tanya, who I've known since, high school?
When you were in high school.
I was, I was in high school.
not me. But we can pretend we were both in high school at the time. But yeah, it's been a long time.
We used to play open mics over at Benicia on, was that First Street at Wolves?
Yeah, I think I met you. I was singing in a band, and you were, I think, maybe friends with one of the band members.
Oh, Vince.
Or yeah, I think you had gone to school with him or something. And I met you, and I thought you were super sweet, and you gave me a flower actually, and I thought that was really nice of you. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's how we met. And it was a coffee shop slash like kind of open mic place where they would let local bands play.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had some mutual friends in common, and then I found out that you played music too, and yeah, that was super
cool. The rest is history. Yeah, and then we used to play in a band together, our duo with
oh yeah, the comedy duo. That was cool. And then we did some like, I think some like Christmas gigs together, just kind of like standards, and yeah, and stuff, and a lot of jamming, and yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And we went to Greece together, and we like did busking, and we played on the streets for money, and
that was cool. That was pretty cool. I also dance besides being a musician, and I remember we went to the I don't want to say apocalypse because that's what's happening now, the Acropolis. We danced and played during the apocalypse, but that would be now. And yeah, I remember that. I put on a kind of a gypsy like skirt, and then we were traveling with this little beat up Casio that I got at a thrift store, and we carried that wherever we went, and you would play it, all these cool like scales and stuff, and then I would dance, and then we got euros, and yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, fun times. Yeah, so fast forward, you're playing in a band. So I guess like the whole topic of this thing was like, how do we prepare for gigs and performances and stuff like that? Just like mentally, psychologically, spiritually, physically. I mean, yes, packing all your gear, doing sound checks, and that stuff is kind of a given, but we're kind of talking more about like psychologically, like how do you prepare yourself, and like if there's any like rituals or routines that you do just to get in the right mindset before you perform. Yeah, I guess that's our discussion.
So let me scoot up. So like I don't know, that makes me have to think for a second. Yeah, because the given is already the packing of the equipment and stuff like that. This is not too much psychological or spiritual, but one thing I think is interesting, the day of a gig, what if I feel any not stress or any like last minute like concern, is what I would wear. I know that sounds like the least thing, but I think female musicians, on top of knowing our parts and also staying, like you said, keeping yourself kind of mentally open so you can concentrate on the show and the music, your set list or whatnot. I, for one, I think a lot of female performers, we are just, I know males do it too, but then we have hair and makeup on top of that.
All right.
So, yeah. There's like, you need the extra time to get that ready. But in terms of, I guess I'll just say, if I'm doing a show, I try not to, luckily with my day job, I mostly have the weekends off and like Friday off. So I had the luxury of actually not going from one mindset in terms of like a 9 to 5 or a job or whatever, where I can actually take the time to like eat good if I know I have a long show with long breaks, or I'm gonna come home really late at night. I'll bring even like snacks with me. A lot of places I play at, you know, they'll feed the band, but just in case, and I don't always want to eat what they're serving if it's like really heavy. But I will say that getting prepared is a little different now than maybe when I was younger. But as of right now, it is interesting that I do kind of like, I try to have some type of meditation when I wake up or after a while that I've had some coffee or whatnot. And it's basically just kind of going outside. I like to do outside, and I just kind of look at the trees or things in the backyard maybe I haven't noticed in a while, and just kind of take away, just kind of focus, you know, on the now or what's in front of me, instead of you know, how's it gonna be? Do I know everything? You know, what do I have to go over? Blah blah, you know, all this stuff. Because sometimes when you have like hours to go before you get in the car, it's kind of like you either know it or you don't at that point. But to get myself in a good clear head, I do a lot of pre-planning before my gig, and that helps me most mentally. Like, as soon as I get a gig and I know what I need to play, whether it's an original project or a cover band or whatever, I map it out immediately. So let's say I have a gig in 3 weeks and I get the material. I literally look at the set list and go, okay, what's the hardest? And I go with that first, and then I try to pace it and do like, you know, 4 songs this day, 4 songs this day. That it doesn't always work, but I at least try to. And I'm a lot more forgiving if I don't do it perfect. You know.
Yeah, no, that sounds like, because you can't just prepare last minute for a gig. Like I remember with Telepathic Birds, we'd be doing like 2 new songs that we'd never rehearsed before, but we're like, oh, just listen to the backing tracks and we'll just pull it off, you know, it'll all be fine. And then we get to the gig, and then like the drummer's like half time in it, and I'm playing the wrong key. I remember the first time we did Cherry Colored Funk, I was like, I came in on like a 5th higher than I was supposed to. But yeah, because it's like at the gig, you can't always hear yourself sometimes. Sometimes the monitor mixes are not so good. And so like you just have to like really beforehand, like I try not to do stuff last minute, but it kind of has been the pattern.
Yeah, because there's so much that's going on, especially like, you know, if it's your project, like with you, and then when I do something where I have to take the lead in something, and sometimes when I get to the gig, a good sound check is half the battle. Like if it's a good sound check, I'm like, okay, this will go good. If it's a bad sound check and it's out of my control,
yeah,
it's frustrating, you know. But so if it's like, I try to work with musicians that like do their homework, because if we're working with a sound company, I mean, most of them are good and professional, but I've been to some places where the acoustics were really bad, or I have like I do a lot of hire for gun type of things, where I just show up with my keyboard and I don't even know who the sound people are, every now and then it'll be someone in the band where I'm like, okay, you're running sound, but you're behind the monitors. Like that's kind of, I don't understand that. And you kind of just have to go with it. But if it's my thing, I'm definitely more like, no, this sound has to be right. But it's like it's kind of have to battle. But it's also like it is kind of a thing when I was talking about meditation before. There's kind of like a surrender on how the gig's actually going to go, because you never know what's going to happen. Like you just never know. Just like crowds, you never know if a bunch of people, hardly any people, or you know, I have even had some gig where like this guitar player just like passed out. He was completely sober. It was like a medical emergency. I never planned for that when I didn't plan for that. Or or like even you think all the band members show up and you get the material right, and then like maybe one's really late because there's a bad traffic and you're like scrambling. Like, so you never know what's gonna happen. So I feel as long as I know my music and I surrender to the idea that anything could happen, then that takes a lot of the control, the pressure off.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, so when when Telepathic Birds were doing the DIY thing, which we still are, there are times where like homeless people would come up and like try to hug Dave, like while he's playing, our bass player, trying to hug him and like talk to him. I'm like, dude, like COVID, like 6 feet, man. It was like in the middle of a song, like we'd have like homeless people like trying to like interact, mostly with Dave or Dorian, and so and we've had times where people like, we had one guy with Tourette's come up to me while I was singing, like literally like six inches away, and I'm just like, dude, like I'm just trying to like, okay, I'm just gonna like send the energy this way, so he kind of starts to move backwards. But like, yeah, just people kind of like, you don't know, because like when you're practicing in your studio and stuff, it's like your safe area, right? You don't think about like kids running around, homeless people running around, someone trying to interrupt your set, or other people, or people passing out while they're playing. It's like you don't really know what to expect. So I really I like that, like kind of surrender, that like anything could happen potentially.
I think psychologically, even now, you have to do more surrender, because I remember the days when it was just like I said, you just had to worry about sound check, getting there on time, sound check, getting there on time. The rest is a breeze if you know your material. And now it's like, oh, I gotta bring my mask and I gotta bring my card, and it's nice that like the girl, I want to hug your bass player. Oh, you can't today. It's like that stuff 3 years ago. You just like, what?
I know.
It's crazy, like, and then for I feel better, I admit, when I play keys because I'm in the back. But when I don't sing often. I prefer actually playing keys. But when there's one band I do sing lead, and it kind of I've been a little freaked out, and sometimes I forget, like I brought the microphone towards somebody, like your turn, or but it's very cool to see what you've been doing with Telepathic Birds. I want to check it out, especially my dad. He wants to dance.
You guys should come. It was so funny because we played at a gig at Integrity and house, and then I tried these LED poi things, and they were so fun. It was like, I would love to have like dancers. Like,
I saw that. It was they used to do that in
Burning Man.
When I went to raves and stuff, and like
with fire.
That'd be cool if you had a video and like,
yeah,
I know how to do that. So if you ever need somebody, put a mask on me. I don't care if I'm like even dress me like a bird, not a big bird, but like a nice bird, bird-esque mask or something.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the whole thing of taking Telepathic Birds and doing the DIY thing was to bypass the venue. It's like, oh, well, now we don't need a venue. We could just play at the beach or play at the park or
Yeah.
play in the back of a church or play in the parking lot or at someone's backyard. So it kind of freed us up from, because like a lot of my favorite venues have shut down permanently. Like Store Club, we played there like probably 40 times, and it was sad to like see that go under. It was just like, oh my god, that was like one of my favorite places to play. So yeah, but the only thing is the DIY thing is like you're your own sound person, you're your own security guard, you're your own you have to, of course, play and sing and do all stuff, but like mentally also just like you have to haul the gear, and then there's always that possibility that you might get shut down by the police, you might get told like go F off, or we've had that happen. Like in Sacramento, we were setting up and the guy like got really angry. He was running the comedy club, but he got really angry, even though he told bass player Dave to like, hey, just play over there on the street, it'll be fine, because everything was blocked off. And then at the very end, he was coming out like yelling at us for disturbing his show. And it's like, dude, you told us to play over here and told us, to turn it down. So you get all sorts of wild card people that are like, we're gonna tow your cars, or we're gonna shut you down, or we're gonna call the police. Now we've had that happen very, very slightly. It's not been very common, but you just kind of, you're just kind of prepared for anything to happen. I know that like we actually started playing indoor gigs recently. So we played in Monterey, and it was a biker bar in Monterey, and it was absolutely like, it was 6 people's birthdays. It was like super crowded. It was the music that they weren't normally going to hear. They normally hear country and blues music, and here we are playing, dream pop, synth pop music. And I remember like having like horrible anxiety, and anxiety usually leads me to having like my stomach starts to hurt.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wow, this anxiety, and like I'm trying to like meditate in my car, I'm trying to take like my ginger tablets and trying to like calm down, like why am I so like freaking
out? On the way there you were feeling like
no, I think it was once I got there and I saw like, oh my gosh, like but it was like this huge responsibility, like, oh my god, we're here to like play music for all these people and like create this new consciousness of energy. I know maybe I like overthought about it. I was like, oh my gosh, this huge responsibility, and I have to sing and I have to play, and we're playing new songs. And we've done this so many times, but like going back indoors after playing outdoors, it's like the people's talking is so loud. You have like you're in a corner, you can't really hear your monitor mix. The lights are all flashy, there's drunk people trying to dance, trying to talk to you, and it's just almost like chaos. Whereas like playing on the beaches and stuff, it was just so like you had so much space and so much room, and then you get crammed in this like small space, and I don't know, maybe it was just like anxiety around being around so many people. But yeah, so I had to sing with my stomach not feeling good, but I managed to get through it. But I'm also like, I'm thinking like diet too. Like, what do you eat before you perform? Because I was like thinking like, oh, I'll have these like, they're really good. They're Vast. It's like a protein shake. It's no milk in it. It's vegan. But I was like drinking 2 of those, and then I had sardines, which is probably not a good.
Sardines, protein.
But like it's high protein, like it'll be good.
They are good for you, sardines.
Yeah. So no, that I ended up with a stomach ache, like a horrible stomach ache.
I'll eat what I eat before a gig and what I eat when I come home are vastly different. I'll tell you that much. But I developed a bad ulcer about like a year ago, so I had to be careful.
Right.
So I'll like make a smoothie. Sometimes I'll just eat chicken. I got a bunch of these like from Costco, chicken on a stick, and I just, or I'll bring some bell peppers. I even have some musician friends of mine when I play that like, oh, there she is with her vegetables. Like I'll just have vegetables in little Ziploc bags and
that's smart.
And crunch on them. Yeah, I make sure I try to eat. There has been in the past, I don't do this anymore, where I didn't bring any snacks or didn't eat before because I was rushing, the packing and all that stuff. And I find I'm one of those people that I guess they call hangry or something, or
Oh yeah, same.
when you don't have like some food in you and stuff. And I also too, what helps is like I don't drink caffeine anymore. I still have decaf, but that has helped a lot with if I have any anxiety before a gig. But what's strange about me is well, I don't think it's strange. I think there's a lot of people out there. I'm more comfortable on stage than anything else. It's like it's before the gig and after gig. I played with some bands that actually had like fans.
Mhm.
And it's mostly for the singers or whatever, you're just like the keyboardist, you're like, oh, okay. But sometimes you'll get people that want to meet you. And I would just bolt to the green room. I would just go to the back because if it's one-on-one, like, me and you or something, but if it's like more than four, like I'm one of those people, if I go to dinner, four is a good amount. If it's four people or more for dinner, I'm like, like, what do I say? What do I do? But on stage, that's when all my anxiety go away. And I had a good friend that she's the opposite. She said what you said, where she's in the studio, she feels serene, she feels safe, and all that. And the kind of thing like you had said when you played in that biker bar, the feeling of like I can't hear myself in the people and the loud. When I am in that environment, I almost get like tunnel vision. I don't it's almost like I zone out. I don't realize what people are saying, what they're looking. I I tend to not see that. Like my husband, he's a performer, he's a musician. And I think why I'm like that is before I performed as a musician, I performed as a dancer. And so at like 16 years old, 17, I was touring, and most of them were like artists that were popular in like South America and other countries. So I would do these shows, but I'm just a backup dancer. No one knows who I am, but they know these people I'm dancing for. And I was exposed to crowds of like 20,000 people at a really young age. So that doesn't faze me. But I don't know if I'm making sense, but the anxiety I have is off. Is off that. But like I said, I think there's I think us as artists, we all have our different quirks for sure. I don't know if I answered your food question, but I will say if my stomach has good food, the less I feel any tension in my stomach, because like we'll carry the tension.
Yeah.
The chakra or whatever. But yeah, I like what you've been doing on the beach and stuff like that. I think that has made for great photos and great pictures. It's just really nice. Really nice. And I know a lot of places have closed, especially it's too bad for the ones that supported like original bands or just bigger bands, like Slim's is gone. That, well, the building is not gone now, it's like this really bad club, I heard. But I'm trying to think where else if me and you had been somewhere. And it's
DNA Lounge is still up.
yeah, that's so good. And I'm glad that place is, because they've done a lot of synth pop nights actually. Like I know you've done some. that's a really good place. But yeah, I just hope San Francisco, when I play in San Francisco, the gigs I've done in there, they've been really good about checking vaccines and like stuff like that. So a lot of those places are seeming to go still strong. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that like, I was when things were shut down for the whole year where there was nothing, absolutely nothing going on. I had friends that were like, "Oh, I'm going to move or I'm going to completely change my career or I'm just going to be a lazy bum." Like I feel like that was an opportunity. Like, what are musicians supposed to do? What are we, how can we still play music and not have to stop everything just because we're not able to play live, and I know a lot of people did the live streaming thing, kind of like you said, and outdoor stuff. Like the whole, if there's anything good out of COVID, I love the outdoor dining. I think that's like been a huge plus. I think it's kind of reminds me of Europe a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just eating out on the street and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do think that like, musicians need to survive and stuff. We need to still be playing music and for kids like little babies and stuff, when we would play at the park, they would just be like in shock. They'd be like, oh, because a lot of them had never seen live music before, right? Because it's all just been like on video or something or recording, and so to see live music was kind of like it blew their minds. I keep telling people that like we would attract babies and homeless people. Those were our biggest fan base. Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Is there anything else we should discuss regarding like preparing for gigs? I mean, just you had to like I feel like with gear and stuff, like when we were going to the beaches and stuff, of course our gear would get sandy and we'd have with stuff the generator, sometimes the generator would run out of gas or we forgot to change the oil on it because it's like a little car basically, right? We've had times where the wind is blowing really or it's raining and stuff. And I think just being okay with your gear getting slightly kind of sandy and wet.
When you've posted your videos, which I really like, have you are you so I've seen the ones where you guys are playing on the beach and stuff like that. It's super cool. Do you layer the audio over on top of it? Because I noticed there's no wind, there's no wave.
Right. Yeah. So Vincent was doing our videos for Fort Funston, and that his audio was so bad through his phone that we ended up replacing the audio for those. Some of them we just used the audio if it was like something that I captured on my phone. But the stuff that Vincent did was just, I love what he did, like visually. He worked in LA. He was doing a lot of stuff for
He
video.
did all that off an iPhone?
He did all that off his iPhone, yeah.
Gimbal too? Did he?
The what part?
Was he using like a gimbal? And it seemed
no,
like
he was just holding
just on my hand. Oh my god!
He was just holding his camera, and like there was a time at Alameda Beach when we were shooting Von Dyck, and he did actually 2 takes of it. So he did 1 take, and then I took the footage, and then I would kind of go between the 2. And it's kind of a little bit embarrassing. I didn't really know all my Italian for that song that well.
I didn't know you spoke Italian.
No, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn Italian. And
I was like, she not what? I was like, when did she learn Italian? It sounded you were like, I would have thought you were an Italian artist if I didn't know you and I turned. I mean, I don't know too many people that speak Italian, so I couldn't tell if.
Yeah, well, all the music, music for like classical music is all in Italian, but learning Italian. What's that?
Like the Vicars, have you ever tried to see those all in
Italian? Yeah. So it's like kind of operatic. I was going more for the K-pop, kind of like ditzy, kind of like just kind of really. But yeah, I had to superimpose the music over that video just because there was actually no music playing. Our generator had stopped working. I think we had been running it for like 6 hours. And so we just kind of pretended to play our instruments and sing. I know I shouldn't be telling you all of this because
no. I mean, I'm doing a couple of duets with I'm trying to do this thing with other female musicians for my YouTube page, and I'll also be contacting you too. Where it's just like kind of duets. I wanted to focus especially on minority women, and like we're doing one that kind of looks like we're doing it live. That's the intention.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you do videos, you take the audio and you just match it. I don't think there's any, there's no big veil over that. I mean, a lot of people do it. I think it was good that you guys do it.
Yeah, it's easier. Yeah, you don't get the wind, you don't get the whatever sounds, because yeah, the original audio can just be, through the iPhone, it's not so great. But yeah, no, I think that's kind of the way to do it. You just kind of line up the audio with the video and export it that way. But yeah, so that has been a secret that I've revealed, that is not the audio that we actually sounded like.
Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have asked it, but I'm telling you, so many people do it. If I was in that situation, I would do it. I've even played in bands where we're playing live, and maybe the audio, we sounded good, but the audio, the way it was recorded,
yeah.
We actually went into the studio and like kind of layered some stuff, because I mean, at the end of the day, I think you want to sound, if you're doing promotion for the video or you print a video or whatnot, just like if you had multiple pictures of you, like you'd want probably the best picture, like you're just gonna pick that. But getting back real quick to the preparing, I was gonna say, so if I have to sing, I do a little bit different preparing versus if I'm just playing. So for example, and then I'm curious what you do, because like what I was saying, like I sometimes, if I know that I have to sing a lot, I won't talk that much until I go on, especially when I'm at the place. So let's say I'm indoor, or even if I'm outdoor and I hear loudness, it's mostly indoor, and you already know by the biker bar how loud people talk in an enclosed space. And I'll just kind of do a lot of like, I'll just literally go like this, like I'm saving my voice. Yeah, and also too, if I'm singing and I don't get good sleep, I don't sing as well. I really feel, and that if like, because singing, you're using your muscle, it's so physical.
Yeah.
I think that's a big preparation, is getting lots of rest if you're gonna sing. I used to joke, if I have to only play keys, I can do whatever I want, and like just go half asleep and just put on sunglasses. Maybe I
know, right.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. If I need to like yell something to a band member, I'll try to sing it. Like I remember Dave and Dorian were loading, I was like, over here, like I was trying to sing it, like over here. They're like, who the hell's singing opera? I'm like, over here, because I was like, I'm saving my voice. So you try to like phonate instead of like yelling it, so that's like harder on your vocal cords. And then like drinking a shit ton of water and electrolytes and stuff like that. And I agree with you, the sleeping thing, if I don't sleep before, I guess I just don't have enough energy to like energize the words and stuff like that. So I feel like that's another thing. And then I just feel like exhausted. Like it's almost like I just don't want to do it, because I feel like singing is such a such a exercise. It's like you're exerting yourself like out of everything. I feel like singing is like a full-on workout. You're breathing, you're having to blow out the air and phonate the vowels and the consonants and make the phrasing. And you know, at a bar they might not care about your pitch and stuff, but like I don't know, I just yeah, I feel like it's such a physical thing, whereas like playing keyboards, yeah, I could be sick or I could have a headache or whatever, and just do whatever, and I can just play it, you know, and it won't be that big of a deal. So
Yeah, like you could do one of your shows with Naomi if you're hoarse, right? You're just like, you know, or you're stuffed up. It's just like
yeah,
it's so different for singers.
yeah,
It
totally.
it's such a physical thing. It's yeah, it's crazy. And especially if you can't hear yourself. Like sometimes
Mhm.
I use in-ears and I can hear myself. I love in-ears. I recommend them for any singer.
Yeah.
But if a band doesn't have the monitors, most of the time I just use a mic, and you're kind of like, if you can't hear yourself, and especially you're trying to stay on pitch, and yeah, it gets gnarly for singers.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Yeah,
getting inner monitors just because like I feel like when I wear the 15 decibel earplugs, the ones that look like hearing aids, and then I end up having to take it out though, just because I'm like, oh, I can't really hear you know,
yeah,
hear myself, and I'm trying to rely more on just like what it feels like and the emotion, because even if I like have earplugs in, like I feel like I want to be able to just know, just bodily know that I'm on pitch and that I'm singing it correctly. But even with those earplugs, I was like coming in up like a fifth or a fourth above what I was supposed to do, because I was just like so caught off guard. So I've actually started practicing with earplugs, like singing with earplugs, like just
yeah.
even when I warm up and stuff, just what is it like? What does it feel like? Because you have that bone resonance, you know?
Yeah, I when I use in-ears, I never keep both of them in.
Mm,
I only use one because I want to hear it also through the monitors, and I want to hear the crowd. I want
right.
that organic feedback. But there's something interesting. I used to sing um like with my phone. I plug it in and then put in just regular earphones. But I felt sometimes I'd be a little sharp or a little flat sometimes, because you do have to be a little careful, because I don't know. I just suggest when you do that, take one out. You have
Mm-hmm.
them both in. What you were saying about the bone cavity.
Yeah.
Um, how do I explain this? My husband could explain this a lot more.
Mhm.
I used to do it. I used to do it all the time when I practice, and I thought I was like naturally on key. But there's something like I don't know. I won't get into it, because if I don't know technically how to describe it, you'll have people watching this. What is she talking? But some people will know what I'm talking about. So for people that do know what I'm talking about, um, it's just a suggestion to just practice with.
Take out one of the earplugs or one
Yeah,
of the ear monitors.
yeah,
No, that makes sense, because like I couldn't do it with both ears like plugged. It was just I had to like every once in a while,
right.
and like I knew it was loud. I was like, I know I'm gonna get hearing damage. I don't know. That maybe that'll be another video. We'll talk about like hearing damage and stuff like that. But we should probably wrap it up because it's almost
Yeah.
time. How can people find your work or find you?
Um, you can go on my Instagram, which is I'm I should have this stuff memorized, but I don't. But my Instagram is underscore this underscore is underscore Tanya with 2 A's. You could also find me on YouTube. I'll be loading some new YouTube stuff. I haven't really touched my page in a long time. And if you also see dance videos on my stuff, I'm also a choreographer. So I'm
Really
a
good choreographer.
thank you. It's still the same person. It's not my sister. And then you can find me on Facebook just under Tanya Alota. Or go to Fiona's Facebook so you can see her cool stuff, and then you'll find me. That's a cool way to find me too.
Right. And then I know like Tanya and I think we have one video on my YouTube channel of when we played like maybe like 10 or 15 years ago, the Dance of Anger.
Do you have the one that Steve shot of us in
Yes,
in the room?
I'll link it. I'll link it.
I like that. Link that, because I thought that was cute, and it was like in sepia, or is that what you call brown and black? I don't know.
Put a filter over the video. Yeah. You can watch us back in the day when we were little.
That was cute. We were like 5. It was cute.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We were like 10.
I know exactly.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, link that. I'd like to see that. That was fun.
Like that. And then people can find you. I'll just put everything below. Okay, cool. Thank you, Tanya, for
all
your
tip
and everything.
Have a good holiday. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.